Oh, I'm upside down. I can read your stuff upside down. So I'm about to flip the phone around real quick. And then I will read your comment. Shalom, welcome. Welcome to the live stream. And I have no idea why YouTube is having this thing be vertical. Sometimes it does this. So let's see. Linda Hipple. Wow, there's a bunch of you all in there. Palmetto Paratrooper, shalom. Iona Creek, shalom. Rusty Smith, shalom. Heart of a Torah Woman, shalom. Good morning, shalom. Mad Kelt and Linda Hipple. We have a moderator in the house, so behave yourself. There's Heather 7. She's a channel supporter. Thank you so much, Heather. Let's see what else we got going on here. The Greek Homestead. Shalom, lady. I love your pictures right now because your forest looks just like our forest. We're on the other side of the planet, but we have some unity going on there. So that's kind of fun. Grandma Ginger's farm. Shalom, sister and friends. There is C103. Man, got some goodies in here today. And Grandma Ginger's farm doesn't always have time to come, so we are really lucky. Oh, Linda, thank you. They are cute and they're healthy, and I'm really happy with them. But I'm coming to end of a season with those ducks. Good morning, Smiling Mary, and thank you for supporting the channel. It's not anything they have done, and I think the ducks and I have sorted out a really good system down here, but I keep getting these massive, like, bug bites turn into these big infections, and I keep getting tooth infections, and ducks have streptococcus in their gut system normally. So I'm gonna give that flock. I've already talked to somebody about this, Jay Johns. I'm gonna give him the flock. He has a pond, because it's best for ducks to be around a pond, to have that water and to get off their legs. Or not, it's not really good for them to wander around on their legs all the time. They can do it, but it's easier on them to have water they can float in. And I did have some of them up at our pond, but I lost one. I lost one this week up there, and having them up there was an experiment. It was an experiment, and that's why I did not have all the flock up there. And I told myself, if I lose one up there, that's it. They're coming back down here to relative safety, because down here I have a place to put them at night. So like raccoons and night prowling predators can't get at them. So Jay Johns is going to get the flock. I think it's 1 drake and 11 hens, which is not the greatest ratio for ducks. A better ratio for ducks is, I'm trying to figure out the sun. Sorry, that's why I'm looking around. A better ratio for ducks is 2 drakes to like 10 females. 1 drake for 2 to 5 females. But we also lost a drake, and so I'm down to just the 1. She is going to repackage pasta, Grandma Ginger's farm. Hang on. Let me get up there. Hey, Cassie, wife of Narrowgate Homestead, good morning. Going to repackage pasta and egg noodles into metal canisters while watching. That's a great idea. What kind of canisters do you have, and where did you get them? Because I know I like buying the, good morning from the Greek Ozarks, right? I could say that about this place too. Welcome to Greece. We have wonderful fall foliage here right now. I like buying our popcorn tins. This time of year, there are popcorn tins. I don't like the Christmas motifs on them, obviously. So I pick ones that are more neutral, like with deer on them or a farm or something. And I'm going to shift myself again because the sunlight keeps moving across with the trees. I like to pick the ones that have like maybe a snow scene or deer or something. Hey, Lost Light. Shalom. And I think you're in Italy, right? Might not be the same guy, but okay. Pond to ducks is an easy chair to us. Exactly right. They are the old popcorn tins. See, you and I think alike. Great minds think alike. They used to be bigger too. They used to be like almost the size of a 5-gallon bucket, those popcorn tins. But the good thing about them is they're metal, come with a lid. And so I've got one here that's several years old. It's rusty now, but I was keeping grain in it, feed in it. Grandma Ginger's farm, is there a benefit to metal versus glass, or you choose those for availability? Just curious and learning. Well, I'll let you answer that, Grandma Ginger's farm. I have my opinion. I think they're both equally as good, and like 1/2-gallon canning jars with lids on them is really good for storing stuff too. They're just not as big. They hold a 1/2-gallon, but the popcorn ones are bigger. So I did a video. Well, I guess I should back that up. I did a short video and I uploaded that. And for whatever reason, my shorts videos are getting way better views than my other videos. And so I thought, all right, I'm not going to fight the tide, you know. This is something that's kind of obvious, like they get way more views. So I made one, and then I made a video about the kitchen, which thank you for those amongst you who watched that. And then I did a video about the kitchen one because I was kind of shocked and surprised when I checked the analytics on that video, because yeah, now I check my analytics just to see that the age range for the cleaning your kitchen video was only 55 to 64 years old. That's the whole amount of everyone who watched that video. It was 100% that they watched that video. And I thought, my gosh, what's going on there? You know what, y'all? I'm going to take you with me on this little walk. Can you even see? Like, the comments are taking up the whole part of my screen right now. Hopefully, they're not taking up a whole part of your screen. I'm going to take you for a little walk because I want to get my water. I didn't bring my water in here, and my mouth is already feeling dry. Oops. There's the Ridgebacks. They're bored. They want to go back down to our other little pond because there was a turtle out there today, and they wanted to definitely examine that turtle. And I told them no because it was a female, and I think she was heading back after laying her eggs. All right, hold on for 2 seconds. I'm going to get the water. I got to open the gate. Nope, you get back there. Nope, nope, nope. You stay. Go on, go lay down. One. All right, here we are back again, going under the peach tree, heading back up to the bench so I can sit down. Some of the ducks in the flock right now are from eggs that we successfully incubated this year. And that kind of made me happy too, because last year my incubation efforts were terrible. I hatched like 1 chick out of 50 eggs of ducks and chickens. Okay, now I can sit and read your comments. You can get any type of popcorn tin and spray the outside with chalkboard paint, and then you can write contents. I do this a lot. Oh my God, Smiling Mary. I never would have thought of that. That's such a great idea. Getting duck approval too. Wow. We used to buy them for $1 a piece at secondhand stores years ago. I agree with SK about glass and metal. Thank you, Grandma Ginger's Farm and Smiling Mary. Okay, good. Thank you. Heather 7. I'm glad you think it's beautiful. I think it's beautiful. Heather 7. We grew up with Rhodesian Ridgebacks. No one ever knows what they were. Yeah, they're getting a little bit more identifiable and a little bit more popular. I've definitely, the vet's office knows what they are. And excuse me. And every once in a while, if we're out in public with them, someone will walk up and ask. They're a blessing and a curse, man. They are so headstrong. Half my day is spent letting them in and out of the house. And I think I should have a door, like a doggy door. But then I think when they let themselves out, I would then be wondering where in the world they're going, because half the time they're doing something I don't want them doing. And so I would still have to follow them out, you know, to keep my eye on them. They're like teenagers. All right, how do the Ridgebacks tolerate winter? They don't have a double coat, right, said the Greek Homestead. You are correct. So what they do have very thick foot pads, and they are very muscular. So like they can go out and they usually, you know, do their business and sniff and whatever, but they don't spend all day outside. Once they've done what they need to do, they'll scratch and go back in, and they spend most of the time laying by the wood stove. We arrived late. What's the topic? Walk and talk? Hen Haven? It's kind of free flowing. I started to talk about a video I did because I wanted your feedback. I wanted your all's comments, what you think's going on there. The video I did on when you're cleaning your kitchen and this happens had only 55 to 64-year-olds as the audience that watched that video. 55 to 64. And I thought, wow, I almost never have that narrow of an age group on videos. And my shorts videos have a much wider span. It's like from 18 to 65 and above. And most of my shorts are new subscribers, whereas my videos tend to be older, more seasoned subscribers, people who've been subscribed for a while. And so I wanted to hear what you guys thought was going on there. Why do you think that video only had that age group? And I know what I think. I think it's because 55 is the end of an era of people who are used to being housewives and regularly cleaning things like a kitchen. Hey, Patty Sanchez, thanks for supporting the channel and welcome. What do you guys think? And Greek Homestead, you need to be subscribed and hit the notification bell, and sometimes that gets messed up for some reason, so you might want to go back and do it again, make sure you've got that dinged. And other than that, it's just their inefficiency. Let me see. Hey, there's Pharma. Shalom, lady. How are things in Canada? Chalkboard paint is great for a lot of things. I've used spray and cans, need to use with a brush. Very useful. I know. I don't know why I haven't hopped on that bandwagon yet. I could paint some stuff here with it and keep track of ducks and feeding and everything. Not sure what YouTube says my age is, but I am 40. I think shorts are viewed by younger because they have a lower attention span, says 7 Heather 7. I do too. I mean, they're more used to them, but I was more concerned about the actual kitchen part. Young ones don't clean kitchens because they eat out, says Hen Haven Gardens. That was one of my theories. One of my theories was, like people in their 20s to 30s who are working don't really have time, probably aren't as interested in cooking, and so probably are going to fast food or whatever. Okay, it's wet in Canada. Is that usual or unusual this time of year for you? I have not seen that video. I'm not in the age range, said Heart of a Torah Woman, but would love it. Been a housewife for going on to 20 years and love topics like that. It's just in the video section on the channel. It's not, I didn't do like a specialty thing, and it's really not very long. It's only about 5 minutes long. And it's not so much about how to clean your kitchen. It's more about what Yahweh was doing in my life that day, and the things, how you can have a thought and then a week later something relating to that thought comes up and then it all gets tied together. That's what the video's more about. I agree with you on the homemaker ending era, said Pharma, but you're not part of that group, Pharma. You are a homemaker, and I know you're younger than 55. Same for me as the Greek Homestead. I don't get alerted even when subscribed, even though I was alerted to this. It's hit or miss when notified. Yeah, and normally it probably has something to do with the time, because I try to sometimes post that I'm going to have a live, and that gives YouTube time to start letting everybody else know. But this one was just, I actually came down here to do some reading and do some relaxing and chill. And but I also wanted to contact y'all. I hadn't talked to people in like a week, and I haven't done a lot of videos, and so I wanted to get back in touch. And so this was just a spur of the moment, and that might be part of the issue there too. C103, Miss Sacco, setting up my house to clean with a leaf blower. I'm done. Man, sometimes I wish I could just do that. Although a vacuum cleaner is our version of a leaf blower in reverse, right? And because it's a sunny day, I could plug mine in because of the solar would be strong enough to do the vacuum cleaning thing. And yes, so many don't cook anymore, said Pharma. Right? That was the other thing I was wondering about. Is it because so many people now just do like an Instapot or a one pot or a microwave stuff already done, and then you just eat out of the tray that your microwave meal comes in and you can throw it away? You don't have any dishes. Mad Kel, what is this eating out thing? See, our generation didn't eat out when we were growing up. Our parents, our moms were still homemakers cooking food from scratch. And I think I was almost a teenager before I saw my first McDonald's restaurant. And by the way, Mad Kel is mad good at cooking. He's a really, like, cook it from scratch. He gave us some bannock at our last Shabbat meeting, which kind of tastes like a scone. It's actually pretty yummy. And I thought, okay, here's a whole nother cooking realm I need to get myself into, is, you know, making the very plain, sometimes unleavened breads, because there's a whole world of people who eat that like on a daily basis, and it's really yummy. Pharma, normal for this time of year to have rain. Okay, that could be a blessing if it's not too cold and not too much rain. Oh, that is great when that happens. We'll totally check it out. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Everything is checked. Subscription, notification bells, but YouTube keeps doing its thing. It's not just with you. Bear, the Angry Prepper, almost everyone. I also wonder, because you are in a country that's halfway across the world, that it might just be like, with their billions of subscribers, like it's way down on the list as far as getting stuff around there. I don't know. I don't know if it's the internet connection or whatever, but I appreciate that you came. I appreciate that you showed up. I think shorts do well with the younger people because it's so easy to scroll, and yeah, the short attention span. I agree, and it, not that I think you guys have to watch my shorts. I don't, like, if we don't have that kind of relationship, that's fine. But the one thing I have found with my shorts, like I've done a couple that were for comedy. I've done a couple, like I love the one with the toccata, Bach's Toccata Fugue in D minor, music in the background with the lightning flashes. Because to me, it's a blending of everything that Yahweh has control of. His weather, his music, and especially Bach's music was inspired by faith. And apparently it's so technologically advanced, it's almost mind-blowing, some of the arrangements he did. I was watching a reel on him, and they said one particular piece of music, the way it's written, it can be flipped over and still be some kind of song, and you can reverse it from end to end and play it, and it's still some sort of song. And so I was like, wow, check that out. But about the shorts, I really liked watching, not TikTok, what came before it, and I can't even remember what it's called right now, where there were 6-second videos, and a lot of them were funny. They had captured like a moment. And I remembered one that really impressed me was a young man doing just how earphone things always get tangled. And he took it to the nth degree. Like he's in the store saying, I need another pair of headphones, and he gets them. And as soon as they're in his hands, they're a tangled knot. And I thought that is so, he captured a moment of reality really well in a funny way. And so I would watch them just to admire how well people captured those moments. And so what I've tried to do with my other shorts, like the latest one is about walking in the leaves in fall, is to capture that moment that we all feel when it is fall outside and you are walking on crunching leaves and the sound it makes. Like that's what it appeals to me. And so that's the kind of reel I'm trying to do. I mean, I like funny ones too, but I don't know that that's my forte. So there's my explanation. It's so great to see the fall colors behind you. Fall is my favorite. Yeah, and another video I was trying to do, but I don't think my sound equipment is sensitive enough, is capture the sound of the wind in the trees with the leaves. It's just, it's another thing that reminds me of fall, but haven't been successful at that yet. I wish you set your screen set to widescreen. Firefly Homestead. I don't know how to do it, Firefly Homestead. Let me see if I can find a... Nope, let's mute the microphone. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that did. Maybe that just moved your things. The only options I have here is save the highlight, share it, enable flash, and mute the microphone. So, sorry. I'm 62 and Bear for Freedom, and the preparedness coordinator for my local church. If you figure out why the kids are tuning out how to be adult, that includes keeping house. If you figure out why the kids are tuning out how to be an adult, that includes keeping house. Right? And keeping house has changed. Oh, maybe, okay, that's what that did. That set the picture the other way. Okay, so if I do that, am I back in the picture? No? There I am. Yeah, it does. I didn't know I could do that. What was I going to say? Oh, because of the changing world, a digital world is not going to be the same as the agricultural world that America started as. And it's not going to be the 1960s world where we're a developing country and we've got a lot of money flush from World War II and all the guys coming home and starting businesses and everything. And so housewives can stay home and they can wear high heels and their little bell-shaped dresses and plan meals and decorate the house and take care of the kids. The guys could earn enough money to have a good standard of living, and that has changed too. The digital world is much more impersonal, and it's also all about, fast time, and it's addictive. We get people who don't want to leave the basement. They just want to sit down there and be online and eat pizza and drink, these power drinks and not sleep because they're so engrossed in that digital world. And so I think maybe having a big kitchen is becoming obsolete for some people, our culture in general. I mean, of course, there's still rural people who, you're not near a Walmart, you can't walk 5 minutes and get everything you need. And so they have to have a pantry and they have to prep and they have to cook their own food. There's not a Taco Bell right around the corner. And so I think our society is kind of becoming split that way. That didn't make sense. The air fryer is so popular, but I don't like it, says Farmont. We've heard of it, but I haven't tried it, haven't seen it. Hey, there's Aid. He's also a moderator, so mind your P's and Q's. Cooking, finding new stuff to cook is a huge joy, says Mad Kel. For a certain part of the populace, Mad Kel, I agree, and it could be for anyone. Anyone can find it interesting because there is variety there. In cooking, like for 20 years when I had a family, I was cooking things that could be cooked quickly and in large amounts and still was nutritious. Like just, making my own spaghetti sauce. I can put in my spaghetti sauce whatever I want for my taste, but I also liked putting a lot of vegetables in the spaghetti sauce because, they're good for you, right? They're good for you. And as I got older, like retired and all that, there really wasn't time. And then everything changed. And now I've got a wood stove and a wood cook stove. That's a whole nother realm of cooking. And it's a whole nother thought process. And I have a sun oven. And that's a whole nother thought process. The sun oven must be, it has to have a sunny day. It won't work without it, which is the beauty of it. But it's also, you're just not using it on a cloudy day. And the wood cook stove is a slower temperature cooking and it's drier. So when you make a casserole and everything, what am I trying to say? Pie crust will be crisper, things like that, because it's a drier heat, because it's wood. And so, like I'm saying, like I have not delved into the world of unleavened breads very much. I don't really cook things like matzah except during the Easter season. Um, Now I'm a little bit sideways. Sorry. You know me and my technical challenges, y'all. Um, but there are like bannock, because I just mentioned your bannock a few minutes ago. There are things like that that I can still experiment with that would keep my interest. Like I have dishes I cook over and over again, but it excites me to think that there's other realms of cooking that I can branch out into. There is Lone Star Living. Shalom. How's your farmstead? Papa got me an air fryer just before he passed. I found it over a year later, so I haven't used it yet. Would love suggestions. Oh, that's interesting. And there's trying and doing. And thank you for supporting the channel, young lady. Shalom all. She is kind of new to the channel, kind of new to Torah, but a well-seasoned lady with a lot of knowledge and experience and interesting stories. We much prefer to not watch out. I think you meant eat out. Rarely is nice. Our kids that are almost 20 and another teen love cooking from scratch and love to learn more. Bread making included. I hope they keep it as they get older. Me too. They prefer not to eat out. And we're getting to that point as well. Like the reason we eat out anymore is just to give me a break from cooking. But the food does not taste better. And I think it's because a lot of restaurants were ruined during COVID, but also have turned to just using frozen food that they can cook quickly and serve quickly. And so it's very difficult to find a restaurant that has a unique flavor to its food, which is one reason we like ethnic food, because at least it's not the same frozen stuff that's served in many restaurants around America. Let's see. Vine, that's the one. Yes, Vines. Lone Star Living. Yes, it was Vines. Grandma, oh, that means I'm behind on these comments. Grandma only borrowed an air fryer once to see if I would use it. You can make anything in them. I just didn't use it, said Pharma. We gave an air fryer away to the kids. Once you start a live, you can't do horizontal, Lone Star Living said. But I think I've done horizontal lives before. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm told the air fryer works just like an oven, but faster, and so I would be saving energy. Yep. That's what I did. Yep, I turned the camera away. I didn't know I could. At least I found out something there. Firefly Homestead is 60. So you and Grandma Ginger's farm and whoever else said their and Bear for Freedom, we're all in that group that, and I'm not saying you specifically watched my cleaning the kitchen video, but you're in the group of people who did. So you probably still clean your kitchen. Betty Crocker, my son is in his 30s, is upset that both parents have to go to work. Oh my goodness. He should be able to at least make himself a peanut butter and jelly sandwich at that age and a lot more. I don't stay in a basement, but I don't leave my property, but maybe once a week. I love my land and love working on it. Praise Yah. You and I are in a different category there, Lone Star Living. We are becoming hermits is what we're becoming. We don't like leaving our land either. I love being here. My wife and I are both 39 and we both stay at home all the time and we both have an income. Our family is together all day, most days, like it should be, right? And then your children get your values instead of those being foisted out in the society, which in the old days you could trust that. You could trust that the society was unified in the values. But nowadays, no, it's very fractured. But we do also go out for French tutoring because the teacher is scared of my chickens. So she won't come here. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Of all the birds on the farmstead to be afraid of, I don't consider chickens one, unless you have an aggressive rooster. We have a tom turkey that someone gave us who's almost 3 feet tall. Like, he's monstrous. And luckily he's friendly, but he did try to like attack me recently. And my husband was there too, and he had tried to attack him, and he's like, kick him in the chest. So I did. Like he rose up with his wings, and he had his spurs out in front on I just kicked him, like put my foot on his chest and pushed him, knocked him back a little bit, and then he kind of calmed back down. But yeah, like chickens, I believe that there's a significant amount of 35 to 45-year-old people in the Western world that, especially after the pandemic, decided to go back to their roots. I agree. It's definitely not the majority. Need to learn how to cook on a wood stove. Just bought a Pioneer Princess. What? Congratulations. That's awesome. So Firefly Homestead, I will give you one piece of advice that will help you in your cooking on that stove. Each log that you put in there, split wood, I'm assuming you're going to put split wood, fourth of a round, is about 50 degrees. So if you need to cook something at 300, you're going to need to put 6 logs in there. And depending on how fast you put them in and how fast they catch, it could go a lot hotter. But if you're under that, then you definitely should add another log. And the adjustment on the back, there'll be some sort of rod. I'm sure you got directions with it. That'll open or close where the heat exhaust is going. And when you're baking, you want that to be going across the oven part of your cook stove. So you have to make sure you pull that open correctly. And then you're going to have to monitor it. You are. Because depending how quickly your logs burn, your temperature could start dropping. And so you're going to need to throw another one in there. Whereas, with a conventional oven, you set a temp and then you can walk away from it. And allow for your preheat time, which I often use with foods that's maybe partially frozen. It's going to thaw during that preheat time, and then when we get to the right temperature, start the baking. Congratulations. I love ours. I love our stove. Dave Farnham, you are doing great. Well, thank you. I did the bannock bread in a toaster oven, says Mad Cow. What? Do people even have toaster ovens anymore? We had one when I was a teenager. And mostly we toasted bread in there. But I know some people who get very creative with it. Yes, you are doing fine. I have tons of unleavened bread recipes and always look forward to making different types. I have a binder I keep adding to over the years. Wow. You should publish a cookbook, lady. There is Tara Firma. Hey, SK from South Carolina. The Lord has given us a gorgeous day here, sunny and high of 78. Us too. It is a really special fall day for it to be this temperature. And some of my plants are a little bit confused. Now, we did have a big frost. Excuse me. So many of the warm weather plants died. But like some of the fruit trees here kind of lost leaves earlier. And now they're putting leaves back on. And I think it's because of the temperature. There's a Leadwood mare. Hello, all. A quality bread machine can make a lot of different doughs. That's true. And I don't mind cheating. I do have a bread machine. I just don't have it here. And I did make a really nice loaf of Italian bread many times with that. My wife and I have been wanting a specific Mediterranean restaurant for a few weeks now. Too bad it's 3 hours away. So I have a slight warning about that because I recently went to a Mediterranean restaurant also. And it was supposedly Greek food. Sorry, Greek Homestead. But it was run by a guy from Lebanon who'd been born in Beirut. And so the food was delicious. I was introduced to this man. He was born 20 miles away from where I was born on Cyprus. And 1 year different. So it's like, wow, we were in the Middle East at the same time as infants. What? And he kept asking, like, where did I live? Did I live around there? And I thought, that's really nice that he likes us as customers. And then I realized, like, Hezbollah is from there. And he's asking where we live. And I didn't tell him. I just told him I didn't live in the area. But I'm like, with all these folks coming across the border, maybe I don't want to tell him. And maybe I need to delve into who's running the Mediterranean restaurants in our area. Just saying, I'm a little suspicious with hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of military-aged men pouring across our southern border from all sorts of different countries, including many in the Middle East and China. I need to think about that. I like my air fryer I used for breaded okra last night. Wow. Our air fryer is awesome. It's basically a small convection oven. There is winter night here. It wasn't lost light. It was winter night. It's from Italy. My family here in Italy drastically reduced the times we eat out because prices are skyrocketing in the last year. That's another reason. Prices are not cheap in our area either. Like to eat out, even at a fast food restaurant, is more than $20, which may not sound like a lot for some people, but us folks with this silver in our hair remember when it would be like $5. So prices here have gone up so much higher than the Biden administration admits to. They've gone up like 300% for some things, like a bag of rice, and it's absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, I didn't want to really get into too much politics. I'm the same. I used to be a social butterfly, but more and more I want to be home with my person, my animal, and all my blessings. That's right. Air fryers are excellent, but we're fixing to switch ours to a more expensive stainless steel one. In our society, we ingest enough microplastics. We don't need appliance, do you? Amen. Amen, brother. Which bread maker do you use? Gonna head out, said Pharma. Have a great day, sister. Shalom. Shalom to you too. At 74, I love staying home, especially with my 2.5-year-old precious granddaughter. Aw, cute. Lady Smith, great. Good morning, SK. Great advice. Oh, thank you for the tips. Do you have a video on how to cook on the wood oven? I do. I have about 3 of them. Just go to the video section and stick in the search engine cook stove, and they should come up. There's Jesse Button. Good afternoon, everyone. There's Bama Buckeye. Shalom, SK. Bama Buckeye got one of the personally signed versions of Homestead Hints. And thank you for supporting the channel. Funny, it's called Beirut Rock Cafe in Arlington, Kansas. We used to go there a lot, probably 12 plus years, but yes, definitely wise to be cautious. Good afternoon, Sitrep, SK, on the Mediterranean restaurant owner. We'll definitely look into the Greek restaurants now, laugh out loud, right? Make sure they're Greek. Find out where the Greeks are for, because Mediterranean could be anywhere around there, right? I guess there are plenty of Greek restaurants in Europe and in the US that their owners are not Greeks. That's weird, right? That's why I said sorry. Like, they're just using Greek because they're serving like heroes and souvlaki and things like that. I did, and I love it. Great book. Thank you so much. Good to know about air fryer, as I've used a convection oven before in the past. I loved your book. Wish I would have got it signed by you, said Firefly Homestead. The reason they got the signed books is because I had but I had bought 25 books of the first run of it before we made some corrections and before we added a few photos. And so I offered it to, I forget how many I offered up, 10 or 15 of those books to people if they wanted to, knowing fully that this was a first run and that the version being sold on Amazon right now is a little bit different. It's corrected and it has a few photos. But I figured to make up the difference that they don't have the photos, that I would sign the book to them personally. I don't want to offer up that, if you mail your book to me, I will sign it for you, because I'm getting forgetful. That's one thing. And I would feel really guilty if people did that and I forgot. And it was, a year before I remember, oh yeah, I stashed those books somewhere. Now I need to sign them all and mail them out. Angela R. Hi, Sister Kate. Where do I email questions? Okay. Let me finish my thought and I'll give you my email. I would feel really guilty if I forgot, and I would feel really guilty if I had to put it off, because even though I have the best intentions for getting things done, PJ and what he needs from me is paramount And so I don't always get to do things that I plan on doing. My time is like literally not my own. And so I would feel really bad if it was like 6 months. Now, I didn't want to do this thing, but I guess I'll say, because Firefly Homestead is talking about it. We are going to be at the Refuge Ruckus Run in March. And there we intend to have a table with our book. And so that would be a time if people wanted to get their book signed to do it, because we are definitely going to be there. It's been announced. We're going to be guest speakers, etc. So that's one way of that happening for you. And that's not me guaranteeing a thing. It could change, but we will be there. Lone Star Living, good for you, buddy. I don't plan on doing the rucking, but I do plan on being there. And so, you know, if you haven't said hi or whatever, you can say hi then. PJ's doing the ruck and I'm not doing the rucking. I can probably do it, but I just don't want to. I don't know if you want to put that information out, OPSEC, Firefly Homestead, but you be you. Good morning. Okay, Lost Light. How exciting, guest speakers. And understand, even though we talk online, I'm not going to recognize you. You're going to have to tell me what your online name is. And don't be upset if I don't remember it off the bat, because I'm sure there'll be more than a few people there. And short-term memory not doing great. Good morning, says Lance Corporal, a veteran. Lance Corporal would have been in the Marine Corps. Yes. Laundry day after an all-night grave shift. Laundry day is a thing. I have to do it. I have to do our laundry in our bathtub. So, like, it's not just a put it in there, turn it on, and forget about it. It's like, put it in there, take it out, get some water out of it. I hang it over the garden because the bath water stuff is actually really good for the plants. Leave it out, hope the weather's warm, check it to make sure it gets dry, and then bring it back in. Yes, I was in the Marine Corps, and you were a Lance Corporal. But did you stay a Lance Corporal, or did you advance? Most famous Mediterranean cuisines are the Greek and the Italian. People will copy them. Exactly right. And they're supposedly very healthy. So there's a reason people are copying them, and people enjoy them. They're tasty and they're good for you. Firefly Homestead, it's on their website, it's on their Instagram, they're advertising it a lot, so it'd be easy for you to find it. Doing laundry in 5-gallon buckets, says Grandma Ginger's Farm. I've done that as well. I'm bummed I can't make the ruck, but praying for and excited to hear how it goes. Sarah did an interview with me that gave a lot of info about it. That's right. Yep, she's the head honcho there. She's got all the stuff. I just finished hanging our laundry on the line. My favorite chore, said Tara Firma. It gets you outside, right? And there's a certain peacefulness to like getting it there and clipping it. Either go to real Greek restaurants or learn how to cook like us. I am here for any questions. All right. I have tried cooking some of the things, and I do appreciate that she put on Instagram a reel about making the Greek potatoes. And I appreciate that because I like them and I needed to know what the herbs were. So, yeah. Have a great day, everyone. Have to get back to chores, says Linda Hipple. I was 6 years a reservist, never promoted past E3 Lance Corporal. Okay, there you go. And what was your specialty? I love the smell of clothes on the line. And I love the smell of the clothes when you take them off, too. They have a freshness, that's not a artificial smell, if you know what I mean. Like, I have some lavender dish soap, and when I wash with it, I'm like, this is the commercial version of lavender, but this isn't really what lavender smells like. And now I don't know if I want my dishes to smell like lavender. I should have thought deeper about that. Field radio operator. Okay, so that's a pretty good little bit of knowledge. So do you do radio stuff in the civilian world too? Like, do you do ham and all that? Rachel Hidehouse, driving around Madison County this morning. Hung out laundry on the line yesterday. I love the smell also. So something else I was thinking about talking about besides the video and the house cleaning, oh man, is the border. I never invested in civilian radios, but you have the knowledge, you have the skills. I just watched a movie where the main character was a German boy with skills that built radios and repaired them. I'm impressed with that. Anyway, the border. So I was having a conversation with some believers yesterday. And if you've ever talked to me in person, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm not a hang on. I'm getting called. 5x5 at the orchard.
Copy out.
And all of us have lived through a lot of stuff. Head on a swivel, folks. I've been wearing seed for a few years now, and sometimes people would be curious I wore them, but now I'm paying more attention because people will just assume I'm Jewish. Well, Jesse, that's a really good point. That's a side point to what I was going to say. We've all lived through 1984. There was a whole group of people who said 1984 is going to be the end of the world, blah, 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 blah. We've all lived through the year 2000. There was a group of people, a certain part of our populace saying, the world's going to blow up in the year 2000. It's going to be whatever. And the Y2K disaster is going to happen. And all the computers are going to crash. And banks are going to fail. And blah, blah, blah. It didn't happen. We lived through 9/11, which was a horrible thing to happen. But, conspiracy theories all around that. But people did die that day, it's just horrifying when that happens in that way. We've lived through mass shootings. We've lived through 2012, which was, supposedly the end of the Mayan calendar. And so what does that mean? Is an asteroid going to crash into the earth and all that other stuff? And I've been skeptical the whole time. I'm like, life is not that bad, at least for us here in America. It actually had improved, medicine's improved, technology's improved, food in general. I'm not saying that all foods being produced are healthy, but you can choose healthy food being produced here. It's more available than it used to be in stores, and you can grow your own. And so I've always been skeptical, and my one of my standards has been, we're not even in a world war. I mean, I know there are countries around the world that are engaged in war and have had wars and have civil wars and everything. But we are not, the 193 countries that are now on the planet or whatever, are not all in a war. Europe is not in part of it. It's not all engulfed in a major land battle, just Ukraine and Russia. And so until something like that happens, I'm not going to get as excited about things that happen here and there, because things that happen here and there have been happening forever. Okay, so what I have not seen in all my 62 years of being on this planet and living in this country, I have never seen as many people pouring across our southern border as is happening now, and that is what alarms me. Because with the attack that Hamas did on Israel, I think that can be a foreshadowing of things, especially with how many of them there are, and how many got poured into Europe, and how many got poured into the Scandinavian countries. This has a potential, a possibility of being a really bad thing and an increase in terrorism. Now, in America, our media likes to paint our biggest danger as being domestic terrorists, like white supremacists, which is a joke in this country. the neo-Nazi party or the Proud Boys or whatever are tiny little groups that really haven't done much of anything, and they aren't very organized, and they're not doing anything. The bigger domestic terrorists here were the BLM people and the Antifa people, which is ironic as hell, because the Antifa folks were definitely not anti-fascism. They were literally fascists pretending not to be fascists. So and their little forays into, having a peace march through a city, or which often turn into riots, or having intentional gatherings that would turn into riots, I think was just a foray into what does the public respond to this? What are the police responding to this? How effective is this? And in a country as big as we are, it's not the same thing as being in a country the size of one of our states. It's much easier to affect politics on that smaller scale than a huge country like ours with a history like ours. So all I'm saying is being watchful is very smart. And your comment about wearing the seat seat is something I was discussing with other believers yesterday. Like, the Zed seat is for us. It's really not for the general public. The Zed seat are to remind us to keep the 10 Commandments. Well, really all the commandments. It is a reminder to stay within the guidelines of God's rules. But in a way, for some of us, it was also a witness to non-believers who wanted to know more about why we were wearing them. And I think in some places, the people just assumed I was some kind of hippie. I'm the right age to have been a possible hippie, and beads and string and all tassels and stuff like that was part of what they used to wear. But now I do think it could be a danger. I do think Islamic people coming into our country know what those are and would identify them with being Jewish. And I do think it's probably smarter to be circumspect, to be cautious about how you're wearing them and where you're displaying them. And it's perfectly fine for them to be under your shirt or in your pocket or whatever, even attached to the four corners of whatever garment you're on, because they are for you. They aren't for anybody else. And so you can still keep your connection to your faith without broadcasting it to anybody else. Poland and Hungary are the only ones with the right policy, said the Greek Homestead. I used to live on the California-Mexico border. It's bad, and my cousin says they see a lot of people wandering into town on their way north. Thank you, Mary. I'm not too worried about myself. I just don't want some idiot to try to tell me when my wife is with me. I don't want her to see that side of me, says Jesse. Right? And I'm more concerned for people who don't really want to be concerned about these things, who would be easy to take advantage of. That's more my concern. I'm also slightly concerned about what those people will teach when they go to a big city and who they interact with. And it's easy to spread rebellion. It's easy to spread terrorism from people who already know how to be effective at it. I'll just say that. A co-worker thought my ZZs were belly dancing accessories, right? I mean, that's an easier interpretation, right? And you're skinny enough, you could be a belly dancer. I've been doing ZZ bracelets lately. I'm Art Nanny. I'm a Christian saved by the sacrifice of Jesus Christ and our loving Adonai. That said, I'm from Assembly of God, Church of God, but I'm curious, what are ZZ? Okay, so if you go to Numbers 15, I believe it's the last couple of verses in that chapter, it talks about tzitzit. And the purpose of them is to remind you to keep God's laws. Hippie tzitzit. So I wanted to bring that up. I just wanted to say, and then I want to hear from you other people, you other elders, if you feel the same way. I have not really felt alarm or threatened by any of the things I talked about being in the past, but this is one particular thing that's causing me to be alarmed. And I don't lose sleep over it at night, but I am concerned. Long Star Living. There's no length requirement in Scripture. You could even hang a small blue cord and be in line with Scripture. It's not for others. Exactly right. That being said, Yah didn't give us the spirit of fear, and if you're in His will, may His will be done. Be bold, trust in Elohim. That's a good word, Lone Star Living. That's a very good word. That's why I'm saying, like, I'm not afraid. I'm concerned, but I feel like if you're a watchman, you are still within Yah's word, because He does say, be watchful. All right, y'all, with that being said, I think I'm going to stop the live stream. It's been an hour, and I got to get back to doing the things. I appreciate all of y'all who showed up and your input. I appreciate all you channel supporters. Did you hear of the busload dumped in Arkansas National Forest? That was close. Yes, I did. I did, and again, it's something to be concerned. Let's say to several of us, sorry late if you've already discussed. I have not discussed it. I think you just keep your eyes peeled for stuff like that. I'm not an elder, but I took my wife to the doctor and a Middle Eastern woman was glaring at me. I'm assuming because I was wearing my tzitzit openly. Ooh. I'm more alarmed at others' lack of concern. Exactly. Email address. Yes, sorry, Angela. Morrigan55@hotmail. And that's capital MORRIGAN 55. Have a blessed day, everyone. Thank you, SK. Shalom, y'all. It was good to see you. You too, lady. Shalom, SK and fam. Always good to see Aid. I'm so glad my moderators didn't have to throw anybody out of the live stream. Have a great day, y'all. Going to go watch more of your videos and try to find the ruckus info. All right. Have a great day, you guys too. Oh, thank you, Ark Nanny. Thank you. That's very nice of you. It's not required, but it's nice. Several of the WG ladies have said the same thing about getting bad looks for tzitzit, said Patty. Yeah, it's probably a good time to just keep your eyes out. Keep watching. Jason, we're about to, shalom, we're about to shut down the live stream, but it's good to see you. Yeah, just be careful. I'm not saying, because I think Lone Star Living's word is a good word, to be bold, to not have a spirit of fear, but just be aware, I guess, would be my advice to y'all. All right, bless you. Till next time, shalom. Thanks, Jason.